there and welcome back to Japan, where currently my neighbour's family are having a football game or a soccer game, depending on where you're from, in the next room. So look forward to that sound. Anyway, I'm just chilling out and listening to some music that I haven't heard before, and today we're listening to Cinderella, the song by Drops. Now, Drops, we've heard them twice before, and both of their songs have been of the very chilled out variety. Very well delivered, kind of like a classic old school rock and roll feel to them, kind of like old school rock and roll ballads, and they have been really enjoyable, well delivered. I know for some people they've perhaps not had enough energy to be engaging enough. I think they are a bit of an acquired taste. Through one of those bands you're either into or you're not into. I must admit, though, as someone who's just a general music lover and loves all types of music, it may be, so far they haven't 100% won me over, and it's not something that I would myself normally listen to much, but I must admit, in the context of what they're writing, obviously looking at what it is they're trying to deliver, certainly they are doing a very good job at that. I think maybe I'd like to hear something with a little bit more happening, a little bit more details in it, but they've so far been, I think, mainly very adept at delivering sort of slow, poignant, and more, sort of more big melodies and more catchy melodies than necessarily intricate arrangements. So let's have a little look and see what this one is. This song's called Cinderella, like I say, by Drops. We've got a couple more Drops songs that we are going to be coming back to as well in the near future. But first we'll check this one out and see what we think. So, tell me what you think as well afterwards. Here we go. This is Cinderella by Drops. That's funky.
PM10信号あと二目盛りクレーン車は眠ってどんな夢見てるの一人行き交う人はみんな上手に歩いて両手に握ったコーヒーの温度だけ
It's very funky. I like the sort of way that it's moving along. Really interested to know how they build this up. Are they going to go for a big chorus? Or? It certainly feels like they're building up. Well, this is surprisingly a lot more pop than I expected. I could really imagine this appealing to like a Western chart. I mean, it reminds me a lot of the current sort of Western pop ballad sound, but it does have much more of the musicianship that you'd expect from Japanese music, and it's quite nicely detailed as well, I must say. There's a fantastic rhythm it's got to it. It's really catchy and it really moves well, actually. It's much more lively than I think I was prepared for, which is great. certainly is a fantastic hook, actually. It's a really good chorus.
胸の奥の方ざわめくような確かな予感がしてる
We got a lot to unpack on this one. We've got a lot to unpack here. Okay, sorry for the little cut there. A few technical problems going on this side, but anyway, a lot of things really stood out to me about that. Now, once again, drops seem to be going for much more of a Western style than for an Eastern style, but that doesn't mean that they don't get some of the qualities seeping through from that sort of Eastern style of music. Now, I know on this channel we're a little bit biased towards the way Eastern music is written, and I do believe that as a general, Japanese music is some of the best written contemporary music in the world. However, when we're looking at this, it does manage to get some of the strengths out of Western style of music. Now, what we heard before of them was kind of reminding me more of like stuff like the Carpenters. It was more sort of chilled out, soft rock stuff. This has, the guitars being used in that slightly pizzicato sort of way, little sort of little things. Almost, it's such an un-guitar sound. It's almost like a keyboard, or it could be any stringed instrument. It's more of a funky sound. Everything about this is very much designed like that. You have the little stabs of keyboard doing the beep, 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 beep thing over the top as well, which go back and listen if you didn't notice that the first time. But all those little sort of sharp little bouncing in and coming out sort of notes that are giving everything a very bouncy and not too strummed feel. It's got much more of a bite, if you like, much more a rhythmic bite to it. But overall, the whole sound, it kind of had a very Western pop sort of style of production. It reminded me a lot of those sort of wistful style of songs that have become so popular in the West recently. There's a lot of songs recently. I think this has probably partly come around after, the early 2000s, when there was that sort of renaissance of folk rock, and then you had like the Ed Sheerans and things of more recent. That style of sort of wistful but poppy songwriting is a big thing, and this seems to trade on a lot of those sounds. However, what was interesting was the way they wrote the chorus. Well, actually the whole song, but the chorus especially, because that's the bit where, you could easily follow into doing just a sort of, I hate to say it, but what's on the radio all the time, sort of Western style chorus. And in the wake of the sort of Ed Sheeran-y things, we're getting a lot of bands and artists who are doing hooks that sound a lot like that. The writing had just enough life, just enough sort of interest in the way it was written to make it stand out, to make it sound a little bit different. Yeah, I know the fact that it's a Japanese language song is always going to allow it to sound different from a lot of its Western peers, but I think that this walked a very fine line between sounding just kind of like another song doing what a lot of contemporary songs are doing at the current moment in the West, and also having a bit of a Japanese identity. Is it something that I would listen to again? I would... I'm not really sure at this point. I have to listen to it a few more times. Certainly if it came on, I would enjoy it, because that is a really good chorus. It is, again, comparing it to sort of the Western peers, of which I think this is more, in common than anything else. It does seem that this has more of an interesting chorus. It certainly has a lot of life to it, and it has, a really good feel to it. I wouldn't say, though, that it's something where I listen to it and go, wow, that's really going to stand out, because overall it does have, like I say, a very sort of effective but generic style of production. So this is a difficult one for me to judge, because, like I say, I don't think this is really aiming to sound like the peers that it would perhaps have on this channel, so much as the peers it would have in a Western market. And I do think that if this was released in the West, considering how with a proper advertising budget behind it, considering how much more popular foreign language music is becoming in the West now, I think this song would do really well, because it does appeal to all those sort of Western tastes. Right down to the video. I love the fact the video really sort of lampooned on what a lot of those sort of, especially I think, well, actually no, European, American, all Western music videos seem to have this taste of recent, which is for the sort of low contrast and then some slightly artsy shots. Someone sitting on a piano, a car is driving away, a car drives into a fog, someone walks and there is dancing. But clearly, the top half and the bottom half are two different people. But there was all these kind of interesting things that were clearly very much of the contemporary Western style. And I don't know, it almost felt like this was written to be a single and to have that kind of appeal. But like I say, it's not without character. It doesn't feel like a cash in. It feels like it's taking from that side of things and doing something that's still fresh enough to sound interesting on its own terms, in its own right. So yes, I did enjoy this. I don't think that it had enough of a like, although it was very good at doing that thing that it did, I don't think it had enough of a sonic identity to make me necessarily go rushing back to it. But it is stuck in my head right now. It's going around in my head, and it took me a couple of minutes to change a couple of things around before actually doing the review. There was a couple of minutes pause where I was playing with some technical stuff. So still, nonetheless, I mean, it's been a few minutes since I heard it now, and it's still going around in my head. So it's a good chorus. It's a good song. I'd be really interested to know what people think. If you're already a fan of the band, do you consider this to be one of their good ones? Is this in keeping with what the sort of stuff that they do? Do you like it? If you're not a fan, do you like it? How would you compare this? Do you think this sounds like a sort of a Japanese style song, or do you get maybe the same feeling that I do, that this sounds, it just kind of got everything about this feels more like a Western style pop rock song? Let me know. Really interested to see what you guys think on this. But for now, from Japan saying thank you so much for tuning in. You have a lovely day. Looking forward to reading your comments either way. And until I see you next time, ciao, ciao. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out more of our hundreds of videos we got online on this channel right now, or get involved in the discussion with us at the many social media links we've got in the description below, where you can suggest new videos and artists for us to check out on the channel. Or you can just do the usual YouTube stuff and comment, like, subscribe. You know how this works by now.